Hello church, well it's great to be with you again. The title of today's message is From Curse to Blessing as we continue our series in the book of Ruth, Revelation in Ruth. Now, if you know the story of Ruth, you will know that Ruth was from the land of Moab. That was a nation that was cursed by God. That was a nation that was formed or that was started through Lot's relationship of incest with his eldest daughter. Can you believe that? And out of that nation, Ruth came. But significantly, Ruth came out of the curse and ended up being a woman who was incredibly blessed, being in the genealogy of Jesus. Now, when we talk about blessing, if I was to say to you who would like to be blessed by God, I'm sure that everyone watching would put their hand up and say, I would love to be blessed by God. And in different ways we already have been blessed by God. But when we talk about the blessing, there are two things that I would like to consider when reading the book of Ruth. First of all, Ruth was blessed by different people throughout the book of Ruth. First of all, Naomi spoke words of blessing over her life in chapter 1. Second of all, Boaz spoke blessing over her life in chapters 2 and 3. And then the elders at the gate spoke blessing over her life in chapter 4. You see, it's so important that we have godly people who have got a spiritual weight, spiritual authority, who can speak words of kindness, words of blessing, words of encouragement, and maybe even prophetic words over our lives. And second of all, when you see the story of Ruth, you see that she was a woman who walked in obedience to God. You see, that's so important if we want to enter into the blessing, because obedience positions us to receive blessing after blessing from God. For example, if I lived a completely double life, if all I did was sit and watch television, if I was unfaithful to my wife, and if I was a drunkard, I'm not really positioning myself to be blessed by God. So here are two things for us to consider, church. First of all, it's important that we're in relationship with people who have got spiritual weight, spiritual authority, who can speak words of encouragement, words of blessing over our lives. And second of all, it's important that we make good decisions in life based on obedience to the word of God, so that we position ourselves correctly so that God can bless us. Because, church, it's our desire that all of us would live under the blessing of God. Let's be like Ruth. Bless you, church. Bye.